An Eastern Kentucky community will come together to honor the victims of a crash that killed a pregnant woman, her 2-year-old son, and 2 other women. New details about the victims and the crash now at 4.
Our Christmas week off and running on a foggy, warm, and wet note, and I'll show you why that is a sign of things to come just ahead.
And singer Jordan Smith is back home and talking to us about winning The Voice. Now at 4, we're in Harlan County for his happy homecoming.
This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Palumbo. Christmas week is off to a very wet start. Most places are seeing rain right now. Here's a live look at downtown Lexington from one of our sky cams. Some of that rain could be heavy this week. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, starting things out, as you mentioned, with the wet conditions out there. It's windy, but temperatures are above normal, and we're going to stay that way. And if anything, we may flirt with some records before the week is over. You want to talk about an ugly Monday? Look at our sky cam. Notice how the camera here is kind of shaking around a little bit as we look down Winchester Road. Low clouds, some fog, and those heavy amounts of rain coming from the skies. Winds right now at 14 miles an hour. At least it's a southerly wind, getting those gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour at times. Defender Radar Network, all kinds of shower action. Starts you out in eastern Kentucky. Rain, I-64 to the Mountain Parkway, to the Hal Rogers Parkway. Get down into parts of London, Corbin, Somerset. More rain toward Lake Cumberland. You get the idea. Pretty much everywhere getting in on the act, even across the Bluegrass region where you're seeing technically a few holes on the radar. Well, that's a little drizzle. Notice the big area of low pressure coming out of the Ozarks. That slug of moisture south of Memphis that is heading into central and eastern Kentucky a little later tonight. Heavy rain, maybe thunder and lightning on and off over the next week. Maybe too much rainfall as well. And by the time we get into late this week and especially this weekend, possibility is there for record warm temperatures. We'll break down this very un-Christmas-like forecast in about 15 minutes.
A community is coming together to honor the lives of 5 people killed in a crash in eastern Kentucky. It happened Friday on the Hal Rogers Parkway just east of Manchester. Police say a pickup crossed the center line and hit a car head-on, killing a pregnant woman, her 2-year-old son, and 2 other women. The victims were all from Leslie County, where a vigil starts in about an hour. Phil Pendleton is there with our top story at 4.
A candlelight vigil will take place here tonight at 5 o'clock, an hour from now, at the Wolf & Sons Funeral Home in Hyden, a funeral home that now has the task of 2 funerals on the same day for all of these victims the day before Christmas Eve. We're learning more about the tragic crash and what the victims were doing the day that they died. Relatives tell me that Tiffany Williams Morgan had a doctor's appointment in Lexington because she was due with Easton Begley. They were returning from that when the crash happened. Now, she, along with her grandmother, Judy Pennington Adams, her nearly 2-year-old son, Kyson, and family friend Charlene Lewis all died in the crash. Police say a truck driven by Jason Gibson crossed the center line of the Hal Rogers Parkway and crashed into the car that they were in.
That prayers keep coming. That's all we can do is comfort with prayers. You know, it's the hardest thing that I've ever faced in my life, and hope it's the last thing that I face in my life.
The crash remains under investigation by Kentucky State Police, yet they do suspect that alcohol and drugs played a role. Gibson remains at UK Hospital. Coming up at 5 o'clock, more on how these families are being remembered and what's being done to help them through this very difficult time. In Hyden, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The 2 funerals are scheduled for Wednesday. Judy Pennington Adams, Tiffany Williams Morgan, her son Kyson, and her unborn child Easton will be Wednesday at noon at the Rock House Pentecostal Church. Charlene Lewis's funeral will be at 2 o'clock at Stinnett Church of Christ. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott is in the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. The Kentucky Parole Board denied convicted killer Karen Brown's request for parole this morning. Brown, who has spent about 30 years in prison, appeared before the Parole Board this morning for the second time in about 4 years. Brown was convicted in a deadly love triangle where she held down Michael Turpin, her girlfriend's husband, when he was stabbed to death as part of a murder for hire plot. not. The parole board determined that Brown, who was convicted of murder in 1986, will need to spend another 5 years in prison. Brown would be eligible to appear before the parole board again in 2020. We'll have more from this morning's hearing on WKYT News at 5. The Better Business Bureau is warning fans to use caution when purchasing tickets through secondary markets. They say only tickets purchased directly from the UK Ticket Office, Rupp Arena Box Office, Ticketmaster, Ticket Exchange, or through UK FastPass are guaranteed to be valid. Tickets purchased through any other sources may not be authentic, keeping some fans from walking through the turnstiles and ultimately missing out on the game. We'll have more on what you need to know ahead on WKYT News at 4:30. That is a look at just some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. New details about the woman accused of crashing into a crowd on a Las Vegas Strip sidewalk, killing one person and injuring at least 35. Investigators say 24-year-old Lakeisha Holloway did not appear to be distressed when she was arrested last night. The sheriff says she told a hotel valet to call 911 after the crash across the street from the Bellagio fountains. She faces a charge of murder with a deadly weapon and is being held without bail. In California, the man accused of buying the assault rifles 2 people used in the San Bernardino massacre has appeared in federal court on terrorism-related charges. Enrique Marquez is accused of conspiring to provide material support to terrorism as well as immigration fraud. The judge delayed today's hearing so Marquez's lawyers could have more time to confer with him. Another Republican presidential candidate has dropped out of the race after failing to register even 1% in some polls. Diane Gallagher has the latest on the race for the White House.
Today, I'm suspending my campaign for president.
The number of Republican candidates for president is now down to 12 as of Monday after South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham announced he's suspending his presidential campaign. In an exclusive interview with CNN's Kate Baldwin, Senator Graham says he's getting out because his campaign hit a wall.
Well, to be a viable candidate, you got to have finances and you got to, get on the big stage.
What's the final straw, though?
My biggest problem is that a lot of people like what I say, but not many people hear it.
Now, some of his Republican challengers responded with well wishes, like former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, who tweeted, "Nobody is more clear-eyed about ISIS than my friend Lindsey Graham. As he leaves the race, I hope our party and country listen to his counsel." And current Ohio Governor John Kasich says, enjoyed Senator Lindsey Graham's wit and respect his seriousness on national security. Experience matters. Best wishes to him, John.
Do what it takes to make our country safe and preserve our way of life.
Now, Senator Graham says that he plans to stay engaged in the discussion over national security and defeating ISIS.
I will continue to work every day to ensure that our party and our nation takes on this fight.
It's a subject he feels so strongly about that when asked about a Hillary Clinton presidency, Graham said,
Hillary, if you get to be president, I'll help you where I can. I hope you're not, but if you are, I'll be there to help you win a war we can't afford to lose.
I'm Diane Gallagher reporting.
Jordan Smith is back home in Harlan County this afternoon, and his hometown has turned out to welcome him back. The popular singer won The Voice last Tuesday. The crowd started showing up hours before the homecoming parade to get their spot to see the winner. Team Jordan signs and T-shirts are filling the streets of downtown Harlan this afternoon. The Harlan County High School Marching Band leading the parade, a group Smith was part of until he graduated in 2012. People at the parade tell us Smith has given this community a huge boost and giving them all a lot to cheer about. We talked to the pride of Harlan a little bit ago, and he told us he can't wait to thank everyone and share his incredible win with them.
This is so cool, just to be here, back home, get to celebrate with everyone and get to thank the people, honestly, that put me in this position, I am the person I am because of where I'm from, and they voted and supported me and been so encouraging, so I'm really happy to be here and celebrate this win with them.
The program includes several speakers, including Congressman Hal Rogers, as well as, of course, Jordan himself. And fans will get a chance to meet Jordan tonight at 6 at the Harlan Center. We'll have more from Harlan County coming up on WKYT News at 5. Apple and Microsoft boosting stocks today. The Dow up 123 points to close at 17,252. The Nasdaq picked up 46. Christmas is coming early at the gas pump this year, with the nationwide average dropping to $2 a gallon. It hasn't been that low since 2009. According to AAA, more than 2/3 of gas stations are selling gas for less than $2 a gallon. One industry analyst says he expects low prices will continue into at least January. Plunging oil prices, now at a 7-year low, are the main factor driving down prices. Today is the busiest delivery day of the year for the United States Postal Service. More than 30 million packages are expected to be delivered today. Nearly 600 million packages are expected to be delivered between Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you want yours delivered by Christmas, the deadline for Priority Mail Express is Wednesday. The FAA drone web registration opens today. Owners must submit their names, home addresses, and email address to a national database. If you already own a drone, you have until February 19th to register. If you're getting a drone, you have to register before its first flight. Now that schools are out for Christmas break, parents may be trying to find ways to keep their children busy.
Deanne Stevens out and about today, and she has some ideas. Hi, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Christmas break has started. What in the world do you do with all the kiddos when they're out of school? Well, you put them to work with some Christmas crafts. What are you guys making? What are you making, Danielle?
A Santa Claus and ho-ho-ho and a reindeer.
Well, you're doing a great job with it. It's very colorful. Is this fun? You like being out of school?
Yes.
Yes, and what do? You keep them busy. Your ornaments look beautiful. Mary Ellen and Hillary over here with the kiddos. I love what you guys have done in putting something like this together. It's important to keep the kiddos busy, isn't it? And not always easy.
Yes, definitely keep them busy.
What do you guys have over here?
We're making an ornament, a little nativity scene.
Now, these don't have to be difficult, do they? You just take a little piece of cardboard.
It's a cardboard, raffia, ribbon, and then design your own cutout.
Okay, how hard is this, Jackson?
Not very hard at all.
Not hard at all? You just throwing some stickers on there, Harrison? You're going to be shy? Well, they turn out beautiful, and they can hang that. You're going to hang that on your tree this week?
Yes, I am.
Well, you're doing a great job. So from Christmas crafts, ornaments, and then other little decorative ornaments over here. Miss Kelly, I love that a lot of these school teachers have come together to put this little Christmas party together for the kids, because who better than school teachers to keep them busy? This is a big week for them, and you got to keep them moving, right?
Right, we do. So we came up with a little easy craft. We have just plastic ornaments, and we are letting the kids fill them with whatever they would like feathers, pom-poms, sequins, and then they're decorating the outside with little jewels, and then we're tying them with a ribbon at the end.
Simplicity is best?
Yes, definitely.
Well, tell me about yours. How do you make this?
You can do anything you want to.
You can do anything you want to. What did you put in that?
Pom-pom, feather, and sequins. And these are jewels in the outside.
Well, you did a beautiful job. Can you tell everybody Merry Christmas out there? Look right there. Merry Christmas, she says. Keep the kiddos busy. Some great Christmas craft ideas. Now, coming up at 4:50, we're moving to the treat table. Some treats to keep them busy as well. And cookie decorating. It's a fun week. Keep the kiddos busy. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Back to you guys.
It's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Walmart is pulling thousands of cases of chocolates because of concerns about allergies. The candy maker Mars says it's recalling 6,700 cases of Dove chocolate assortment snowflakes because the items may contain some other candies, including pieces of Snickers, Milky Way, and Twix. The company is concerned about people with peanut, wheat, and egg allergies, which are ingredients in those other candies. The holidays are here, but that's not an excuse to overindulge. With a little preparation, you can eat the treats you want without breaking your healthy habits. Elizabeth Cohen explains.
Eating during the holiday season is all about balance, eating the treats we want, but remembering our good health habits so we don't pack on the pounds. How do we make this happen?
Combine these items together.
Registered dietitian Dana Nahai says start by preparing lighter meals in between the holiday get-togethers.
You want to focus on foods that are naturally low in fat and high in fiber, like vegetables, whole grains, and beans.
Such as in this dish with brown rice, lentils, butternut squash, and parsley. And when you do head to the holiday parties, try not to pile too much on your plate.
You want to try not to consume more than the typical amount that you would consume at any other sit-down meal.
And if you're drinking alcohol, here's a trick to cut down on calories.
Try refilling your glass with water in between cocktails.
And though our schedules get hectic this time of year, it's important to remember to exercise. It can help burn off those extra calories so that when we do indulge, we don't leave the holiday season with an extra bulge. For today's Health Minute, I'm Elizabeth Cohen.
There's a new mac at McDonald's. McDonald's is testing mac and cheese as an option in Happy Meals. It's a limited test right now, only in Cleveland. The macaroni and cheese would replace French fries. It's also available outside Happy Meals for $1.75.